The clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise. The pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll.
Trustee Polly.
Here.
Trustee Lappin.
Here.
Clerk Palovich here. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Here.
Trustee Kroll.
Here.
Trustee Reiner.
Here.
Supervisor Kozibowski.
Here. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
One request to just move number 10 up a little bit if we could, just so that Mr. Osmer can make his presentation and head on in.
I would support that.
The US 23. Where would you like to move it to?
Well, as high as you want to take it.
Why don't you move it to number 1 and then move everything down
Sure,
one?
yep, we will move item number 10 under new business US 23 South parcels up to item number 1. There's a motion to accept the agenda with the,
It's a motion by Trustee Reiner,
yes,
supported by Cash.
change in the order of number 10, moving that up to number 1.
Voice vote.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. This is the first opportunity for public comment. If there's anybody online with public comment, please raise your hand. Seeing none, if there's anybody in the audience with public comment, please approach the podium. Also seeing none, the first opportunity for public comment is closed. We're gonna move forward with a presentation from the fire department. So firefighter Meisner.
All right. I'm here. If you've driven past the Southside Station, we have that new red thing right in front of our front door. If you're wondering, what that is, what it's doing there, that's actually from one of our fires earlier this year. We had a fully involved garage secondary building that within about 5 to 10 minutes we were in there, we had a large percussive blast on scene of this fully involved building, and it ended up being a argon cylinder. It boiled from the inside and the pressure blew up. I think they actually found pieces of it about like a quarter mile away. Thanks to it was donated to us, and Lieutenant Stevens and Ed Hodgkins, they put in a lot of time and resources. As you can see that in those pictures over there, that they painted it, they put new decals on it, they put our logo on it. We're kind of using it now as a training tool as well. It's interesting piece to look at. It kind of shows just the risks that we go through every day. It's interesting piece to see, good for fire safety, just people driving by. It's now in front. We use it as a sign. We have it set up that you can put some plants in it. I think it's just a cool piece of history that we can now share with the community, and a piece of pride for our fire department to show what we're doing out there. And it's just nice to be part of the community and something we can show. And I think it's just a little bit of history we can give back now.
Thank you. But do you have any questions?
Cool.
Now we have our own sculpture.
Yeah, the first one in the top.
One that almost hit somebody, as I understood it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, very dangerous, something that I think is underplayed with the fire department and what they encounter. The dangers on scene
Yeah.
of not knowing what they're walking into. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Make a motion, we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Here.
Yes. Sorry. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
trustee Reiner,
Yes.
trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin.
Yep.
Supervisor Kujabaski.
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to old business. Item number A, the Maple Ridge Township Fire Agreement. I've not done anything else with this. Chief, have you?
Yes, I didn't have anything ready to present tonight, but I do have some suggestions for you all to view. When we first initially talked about this, I had given some ideas on what the cost could potentially be. That was with Maple Ridge at the table. And then it came upon at that time that it was agreed that I think it was gonna go to $1,000 increase for the 3,500. And then I have put together a couple other options for you to look at as well. So I'll be able to present that. Pretty much, I should be able to get it to you next week.
So we can discuss at the December board meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the date on this letter that was in the packet?
From Maple Ridge.
There's no date
I
on the
know.
letter.
It's not dated.
Well, it's 2 or 3 months. It's been in our pack.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if it was a year ago or
I
anybody.
cannot recall when that meeting was with them.
It
but-
was early on, within the first probably 3 months that I was here.
So we're going on a year.
Yeah, so well, and, I think it was, we didn't submit a bill to them until
We still had not, yeah.
we still have not sent it
Right.
based on that agreement of going to 1,000 of above of what it was.
And the board never approved that 3,500, right?
Okay,
So approximately what month was that then? I forget when you started.
so I
December
just started
1st.
in December, so
December.
I would say probably February, March.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, water tower security. I can give you guys a quick update on that. I was in contact with AT&T. They have been mostly helpful, but there are some questions regarding our agreement with them. The representative that I spoke to was unclear what our equipment allowance is. So as you guys know, we receive all of our phones and our service for free from AT&T for their exchange of them having their radio
Towers.
Antennas on the top.
antennas up on the tower.
Do we get paid from them too?
They do,
Oh, yeah?
they pay a tower rental.
Okay, so we do
Okay,
get money.
so we
for
do
it.
get money
Yeah.
for that too, okay. So there, I wasn't able to find anything and neither was the representative I spoke to about whether or not, what that allowance is, if we are allowed to just keep adding, to the free equipment that we get. So Caitlin, the representative I spoke to, is still looking into that. She did send me a sample camera, which has not yet been installed. She's working with me to figure out how we can best implement it. There is some question, which I think we already knew, regarding whether or not the Wi-Fi service will work with it because of the placement on the tower. And this one is completely wireless, so again, question about whether or not the battery life, what that will be like through the winter. But she sent it and we'll get it up and installed.
Have we checked any other internet providers like Spectrum?
No, not right now. If we can get everything for free through AT&T, I think trustee Kroll suggested that, so we're gonna try.
And who would be installing this camera?
I will likely be installing it with her guidance over the phone. She did say though that if I was unable to get it to work, she would be happy to come up here, so
Hmm.
also an option.
This is gonna be on all three,
It would be, yes, on all of our towers. With, depending on if they're gonna, how many cameras they're willing to give us, we could also put that on lift stations as well. So I think the towers are the most important thing right now, per the emails that I've received, regarding the issues that happened before I was in office. So I think, that's the route we're gonna take. Go ahead.
So you're gonna, AT&T is gonna provide cameras for all of our towers? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're looking into how many they can provide, and my understanding from her is that she's gonna keep providing them until AT&T tells her she can't. So that's where we're at with that.
we're up to 400 of
Right?
them now.
So we just put them everywhere. But yeah, it's just a wireless, it's called an Arlo 2. So you can Google that at your leisure.
I
check out the
presume
specs
that
on it.
that records.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll bring that to the next board meeting and you guys can check it out. And hopefully we have it online and can see what it looks like. Any other questions about that? Moving on to the item number C, ordinance number 159, the conditional rezone, if you recall that from our last meeting.
Yep, at your last meeting, the board agreed to conditionally rezone 1245 Greenhaven Lane from R1 to the agricultural district. The conditional rezoning had various conditions related to planting of fruit trees and no other agricultural uses. So that was agreeable to the board and or a majority of the board. And at that time, I gave you a simple ordinance that we need to adopt to amend the zoning ordinance to reflect that conditional rezoning. So it was introduced during the last meeting. And so now I'm looking for a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 159, an ordinance to amend the Charter Township of Alpena zoning ordinance and zoning map in order to reflect the conditional rezoning. And also, for your information, the property owners have signed the required statement of conditions that gets recorded with the Register of Deeds. So notifies future property owners and that these conditions attached to the property, unless the future property owners and the township board agree otherwise, and then we would record another document.
So the specificity is not in this ordinance, but but it's in a document that will be
Yes.
recorded. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, and Abby and Michelle just signed that tonight, and I'll get it recorded. And, yeah, and zoning ordinance has got a laundry list, long laundry list of, provisions I needed to include in that, so I just went verbatim through it and then included the conditions that were agreed to. And, the property owners were fine with it and cooperative, so everything's.
Then I'll
moving
make the motion on the ordinance.
ahead. Okay, thank you. Support that.
One second. You know, it's
Oh,
not a
I-
discussion.
No, I wasn't. Is there any other discussion on this? I'm just gonna quickly add that I just was doing the citizen planner program through MSU and learned a great deal about this. And I think that that would be a really good program for anybody on the planning commission to do. If you remember from last January, or February, I applied for a grant it's a 50-50 matching grant for that. So it's $250, that'll be matched by the power plan. I just have to give them my certificate of completion and we'll get $125 back. And I know Michelle, being the newest member on the planning commission, is gonna be doing it as well. But I definitely think that going forward, planning commission members should take that class. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
No.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Supervisor Kujabaski.
Yes. Motion carried. Moving on to new business. Item number 1, the US 23 South parcels.
All right, just finishing my notes on the last one.
All right, good evening. I think I know most of you, but for the sake of formality, my name's Jesse Osmer, County Administrator. I have Ricky Nato here. She's one of our she's one of our deputy treasurers. Here today regarding our November 20 letter to the board, regarding, special assessment monies owed to the township and possibly seeing if you would consider waiving those monies in order for us to get these parcels back on the tax rolls. There's currently 7, which we believe could be broken up into as many as 11 lots. Our treasurer couldn't be here tonight, so I'm here to answer as many questions as I can, or take some questions back to her to get answers if I'm not able to answer them. I know numbers are always a big deal for me. I'd like to know what kind of money I'm talking about. So we believe the total amount as of the end of this year that would be owed in special assessment money would be between the 7 lots, $133,228. Our concern is that as it stands right now, these parcels are going to be overpriced and we're not going to be able to get them sold, thus not getting them back on the tax rolls and missing out on some money long term.
Jesse, that amount was as of October 31st, that payoff amount. But
Oh, okay.
but
I apologize.
after I was talking with Attorney Golden, there's also other things that would come into play in that amount of money that he can explain.
Okay.
Would you like me to jump in on that issue?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a Michigan statute from the General Property Tax Act. It's clearly written, and then the Attorney General has jumped in with an opinion and confirmed what it appears the plain wording states. And that is, when a property tax foreclosure occurs and the property goes to the county, that extinguishes all the special assessment installments due up to that point. They're wiped out. So the figures in the attached list are excessive because they don't do that computation. And the various dates for the foreclosures range from 2012, 2013, couple 2016, 2018. So for each parcel, you take the foreclosure judgment date, see how many previous special assessment installments were extinguished, and then going forward, those installments survive, or they when they arise, they're still attached to the properties. So, for example, one of the parcels had approximately almost $30,000, and it was foreclosed in 2012. Between 2005, when the special assessment project arose, in 2012, those would have been removed. So that 30,000 is too much. It's not important unless the board wants to really dig in and see what precise amount. Let's just assume, pretty large sums, but not as large as on the list that we've been provided.
Mr. Golden, I'm sorry, my former work was with this. I'm just always interested. Do you have that MCL number just for my own?
Yeah.
If not, it's not important. It's
I'll
just,
have it in my file.
I'd like to geek out on it later and read
Yep,
it. So,
give it to you before we
Okay.
get done here.
thank you.
And so that's one thing to keep in mind, just so you know what you're dealing with. Mr. Osmer has asked that because parts of those special assessments from the US 23 South water line extension project are still encumbering these parcels. And so asking the township to waive those so that they can be sold, put back on the market. And the plan, I believe, involves Habitat for Humanity Northeast Michigan. And so my recommendation would be, if the board is inclined to do this, that at least at this stage, that the motion be contingent on these parcels actually ending up being conveyed to that entity or entities.
Well, they'd be conveyed to the county treasurer first,
Well,
right? And
They
then,
are already.
They're already in the county.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and
The
then,
contingent on waiving if she
right.
sells them or gives them to a certain person or
Okay.
Yeah, so that-
entity.
that they would go, they'd be waived if they went to Northeast Michigan, Habitat for Humanity, as opposed to a third party that
Yeah.
may be willing to pay the
That-
special assessment.
Okay.
Or at least we cross that bridge when we came to it, if it was some other purchaser.
But we have right now, these figures are really meaningless.
They're inflated. That's,
Right.
yep, we'd have to go through it and say, okay, the one was foreclosed in 2012. What arose after that?
So it would be tax year 2013 through now is
Through
what,
2025, yep.
yeah,
This was the last year of it.
Depending on what you're.
right.
Right. But, yeah, when I got those payoff numbers, I mean, I called BSNA, but I didn't know about
That law.
that, right, until I just spoke to Tim, so.
I can share, I do believe, and Ricky, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Mr. Fines was in your office today and was still expressing interest as of this morning. So I think it's definitely, and I think the intent would be then to break those 7 properties into 11 is what they'd like to do, but, and then I do have a special note. I don't know if it's relevant, but just to mention that the treasurer wanted me to also remind the board that the township would also receive $2,500 for tap-in fees per parcel. Small potatoes if we were talking 133,000, but maybe if it's a smaller amount, it might wash it clean. So
Are you saying to tap into the water?
Mhm.
Yeah, go.
correct, yeah.
Does everybody understand that? The water main is running past these properties, but they're not currently tapped in. So any property owner that wanted to have,
These are all vacant properties.
yes.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. None of these are on the lakeside.
Correct.
They're all across the road, and when
Yes, sir.
the Special Assessment District was created in 2005. A lot of those parcels, challenged it in the tax tribunal. A lot of them just gave up the property. So
These are all, I believe they're all just north of Osneek Township, just south of the bay. So
And just so everyone's aware, back in 2005, a bond was taken out for the US 23 project. And the bond was paid off this year without collecting this money because of the interest we've earned in our investments on that account. So the bond's paid off.
if the board wishes to do this, I have a motion drafted that I can pass along to whoever wishes to do so. The statutory site, Jesse, is 211.78, small k, subsection, speak like a lawyer, 5C.
perfect. Thank you so much.
211.78K, 5C.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm just a thought I want to throw out there, but would the board want to know exactly how much we would be giving up financially in order to do this?
I think it would
Or-
hurt to have all the
Before-
data before we make a decision.
And that's what I was thinking that, yeah.
Are there any other additional questions I might be able to take back to the treasurer outside of those numbers that I can collect, or?
Is it something where if we decided we could waive just the interest and not the special assessment? I mean, is there, do
Yeah,
we have
you're-
different options?
Yes, regarding the amount, either
Yeah.
all or part, also, yeah, and the treasurer did provide the dates of the foreclosure, so I think we've got everything we need from her, it would just be.
To figure out what the numbers
Us, I
are.
would not,
But you would be doing the calculations, right, Tim?
I would just need to know, really, we just need to know what those installments were for each of these parcels.
For those years.
Yeah, I'm not, gonna be able to do the interest, calculations, but we could get the principal amount and have a rough idea of what the interest.
I just thought it might be nice to know, how much that is before we just
Absolutely,
move
yeah.
ahead with it.
I would want the exact same information, so I don't begrudge you.
Something we want to table till our December meeting, till we have all the facts and all the data. Like,
I think that would make sense. And at that particular point in time, I would also, and I don't know if this is a time necessarily to bring up, but I think the thing that would limit, I hate the idea, I don't hate that, that's the wrong use for it. The memo that Jesse had drafted was to partner with Habitat. There are at least one new entity that is trying to accomplish not what Habitat does, but to work with
others to build homes, called the Lake Huron Regional Development Corporation, of which I am part of. And so, I was gonna bring up discussion to maybe have, maybe Lenny Avery from Lake Huron Regional Development Corporation come here and talk about what they do. It's a spin-off of Target, of which I sit on that Target board. And then when this entity was formed as a separate standalone entity, I am the president of that organization, and its intent is to build homes and to create tax bases for people, but not to compete with Habitat. So it might be worth a conversation with Lenny, and he can give you a much broader view of what that entails and in what area that will entail. But I think this should be tabled until we at least have all the facts.
Steve, were you aware that we did have a meeting with Lenny?
Yes,
Okay,
So I'll make that motion to
but
table this.
not the entire board.
no, that's correct. You're making the motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support.
Any other discussion?
We're just tabling to the
Roll
next
call.
meeting.
To the next meeting.
Oh.
You can do both.
Yeah, all those in favor of tabling US 23 South parcels to the December meeting signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same. Motion. carried.
I could just last question. So nothing on my part that you guys need from me for the next meeting,
I don't think so,
unless I get an
but-
email or something, but no marching orders from right now for,
But if
okay.
anything comes up, I'll reach out to you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the annual opt-out. That's it.
Wake up.
You're good.
Something we do every year about this time. In order to, so the township will continue providing the level of health insurance benefits to employees that it currently provides. And I have a sample motion that I usually pass on to Steve.
Go ahead.
All
Nick.
right, so I move that the township exempt itself from the requirements of the publicly funded Health Insurance Contribution Act for the upcoming medical benefits plan coverage year.
I'll support that.
Any discussion? You made a face.
No.
Okay.
That's my face.
Roll call?
Trustee Reiner,
Yes.
trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin.
Yes,
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Supervisor Kozibowski.
Yes.
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on to budget adjustments.
Just adjusting things. 'Cause we didn't fix- I can't look at you, Ross. when we do these.
I'll make a motion. We approve the budget adjustments as presented.
Is there support?
or
Thank
Who
you.
supported?
Steve. Any discussion?
Is there anything of note, Nance?
Not
Yeah,
really.
Taking 30,000 out of professional convention, the first one,
That's, yeah.
putting it in plan review, what's that?
That is for the building official when he does plan reviews.
Oh,
He gets paid extra to do plan reviews. It's part of his contract.
We did also realize today that we didn't budget enough in the street lighting, which we've noted for next budget.
Did you see that?
I noticed with one of our benches, by the way, out in front of,
Advance
Yeah.
or whatever.
is now the bed for a homeless.
That's
Oh.
really sad. I mean, I went by there today and it just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Any other
Terrible.
discussion?
Trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Supervisor Kujabaski.
Yes. Moving on to number 4. The December board meeting date.
Hmm.
The meeting is scheduled for
The 23rd.
Let me say
Or-
that.
one second. I don't know if I'm in the right year. Scheduled for the 22nd, which is the week of Christmas. Would the board be interested in moving the meeting up to December 15th?
December 17th.
15.
15th?
15th.
I suppose we could have it on the 17th.
Yeah.
I said, I suppose we could have it on the 17th, but
That
the
would be-
15th would be the Monday before.
I guess.
I'm good with moving it.
Yeah, to the
That's a
permanent
hectic week.
staff, I think, the three of you feel that you can handle being ready for it by then.
Oh, we're ready.
We're ready. now.
We are ready. Did you make that motion?
Yeah, I can make that motion
I'll support it.
Okay,
to
any
move
other-
it to December
15th, same time, 6 PM, same place.
And I have to post this like a special meeting.
No, we're, because you're
Okay,
accomplishing.
I just need to change the schedule.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Can you be ready in
Motion
time?
to date.
Yeah, so
Yeah, sure.
we'll get it done tomorrow.
Hmm.
Does this have to be a roll call or a
When
voice?
when in doubt, let's do it.
Okay,
Okay. Any other discussion?
trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Supervisor Kujabaski.
Yes.
So that means everybody get me your stuff for the agenda a week ahead of the normal
Is that
schedule.
your official request?
I'll
We'll send out
probably be
reminders.
nice and send an email on this one.
What's that?
Oh, yeah, and pay attention, Mr. Ladle.
Yes. Mr. Loda.
Moving on to the next item, the GNK invoice for the garage heater. The garage heater broke and we need the garage to be heated.
Which garage?
So will be the first set of bays back here, the ones that are closest, right? Nathan, the bays that are closest to the office.
Is this the heater for the, where,
Yeah, this is the bay that's,
Yeah.
like she said, it's the next bay over from the office. It's the bay number 2 where we store the F&V vehicles plus water main supplies and water service line supplies. The main reason we need heat in that garage is there's water lines that run through the garage to feed the very back bay where the fire engine is, along the washer and dryer back there, and hose bibs throughout the facility there. So it's just important that we don't have anything freeze because they do sit against the external wall. And it wouldn't look good if our water department had stuff froze.
And it's my oh, go ahead.
The supervisor does have the authority for during emergencies up to $5,000.
Right.
So I guess you're asking for.
I'm
okay to
asking,
pay.
yeah, yep. Also, the secondary, heater in that bay was already not working, so that's why we needed to fix.
So is this the primary and
This is-
secondary?
Yes, this is now the.
So this is
only-
now the only.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now they both work.
No,
No,
only
no,
one works.
We just have one. We already only had one, then we had none.
We
and
had
now we have
2,
one again.
then we went down to 1,
Correct.
then we had to, now we're back to 1.
Do we need to explore
Right.
one, a secondary?
I asked,
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. We were running just the one, and with just having that one, I mean, it's a garage. We don't need to keep it hot. It stays around 55, maybe 60 degrees if we're working in there, and that's plenty enough. It's what that heater unit is. I think they upgraded the size of it just a little bit to give more BTU, so provide a little bit more heat in that area if we need it.
I did talk to Paul about that, and he said they upgraded it and it should suffice. He didn't have any issues with us just having the one. Thank you, sorry for putting you on the spot. I have a motion to. pay this?
Yeah, you need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Supervisor Kujabaski.
Yes. Moving on to the invoice from Tesmer Construction. I sent out some pictures so that you guys could all view that. You're welcome to walk back there and see. Ultimately, the placement of the recycling bins did not line up to where the asphalt was. I talked to Mr. Tesmer as well as, Mr. Dean, who does our asphalting, and the recommendation from both of them was that the integrity of the asphalt would be better if we put the concrete butting up against the asphalt. So, that's what we did. So we ended up, instead of, I think at the last board meeting, we talked about doing the apron for the back garage. And the board approved that. This is an additional section between that and the recycling and the asphalt, all the way up to where the fence is from the baseball.
Was this concrete donated to?
Yes. So we were paying.
This is just for labor.
Yep.
And it was probably less expensive since they were already here.
Yes.
To do it
absolutely.
and then
Yep.
have them come back in another time.
Yeah. And again, both Mr. Tesmer and Mr. Dean said we would be a lot better off to have that concrete butting up against the asphalt, especially with winter coming for plowing purposes. So.
So the concrete was donated by,
What's up? Have it butt up, what do you mean?
So,
Like next to.
yeah,
Yeah, I know
so
that.
there was a gap, I would say maybe like a 6 or an 8 foot gap. I don't know, I didn't measure it. But there was a gap between where the recycling concrete was poured and then where the asphalt, the end of our asphalt is. So there would have been a gravel gap.
I haven't been back there for about 2 weeks, but the last time I saw back there, you can't drive around the building anymore. Was that a temporary thing?
Yes, and my understanding is we can put the bins back on December 1st.
Okay.
So, and that's just for that year.
That should have been done 2 weeks ago, right? When he went back there? What? The concrete?
Yeah, the concrete was already done, but
Yeah.
you're saying you didn't go to the other side.
you would
had
have
to
to
go
walk
around.
past the
Yeah.
bin.
Or going on that way?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the bins were right behind the building, basically. And then there was some over here, but.
Right.
The glass. Okay,
So for who's,
Oh.
what I'm trying to understand, and I have not gone back there, I should have. I was gonna try to do it today, but it started to get a little dark. And so where this concrete and the asphalt separate,
Mhm.
now they're essentially butted up against one
Yes.
another. And that's because when the recycling trucks back up to pick up the bins, they don't want to break the asphalt.
No, that's because the pad placement for the recycling bins was, it couldn't butt up against the asphalt because our building is in the way, so they would not be able to back their truck up to load the recycling bins on it because our building, the corner of our building is in the way.
Okay, so to whose benefit is this? In other words, are we paying $4,900 for the full amount, or is the recycling paying?
So this is a
separate?
separate pad. The recycling paid half of their pad, which we discussed, I think, at 2 meetings ago.
Okay,
This is just a separate.
this is not
No.
this is not a continuation. of
No, no,
This is-
and no, and this
Okay.
is just solely to protect the integrity of our asphalt so that we are not trying to repair the asphalt and incurring future
Yeah,
costs.
no,
for that.
I can appreciate that. I just wasn't sure if it was for whose benefit it was, so
The
if you
township.
clarified.
Yeah, the townships.
So that would-
Go ahead.
Do we get any compensation or anything from the recycling authority for putting their bins here?
Not that I'm aware of, Laura, do you know?
No, but it's a service to our community. It is something we can do for our community. To have them here, we're a member, we're a part of the Northeast Michigan Materials Management Authority, the city and our 8 townships, and everybody has to do their fair share to promote recycling. We're ready to build a facility next year.
Where else do they have?
They're also at the Moose Lodge. They've moved them all over the place. They used to all be at Northern Lights, and that was a big problem. And there's some in the outlying townships. There's one at Green,
Wilson.
in Wilson, and then I know it's the Moose Lodge and our
Okay,
township.
so we do have some at other townships.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we house the majority of them in Alpena Township now.
And our customers appreciate it. big
Actually,
time.
I like it a lot better having all of the bins here that are, because there's never full bins. I'm never going there and not
Right.
being able to get rid of
Right.
my.
right.
And it's
Yeah.
kept clean.
It's-
There's no issues like there were at Northern Lights Arena when there would be problems with,
Dropping
things-
off a mattress.
Right. But we
There have
had-
been very few
we-
problems.
And, you know, we have a camera on that too, so nobody, you know, they know they're on camera if they go back there and try to dump something that they shouldn't dump.
And I might as well touch on it while we're on that topic. The intention from recycling, I believe also is to fence in that concrete pad that we're using for the bins. So that will be fenced in, with the privacy slats that goes through the, whatever that is. Chain link, I was gonna say chain mail, but I knew that wasn't right.
I hadn't
Um,
heard that.
Yeah, so they talked to baseball, well, actually, I talked to the baseball fields about that when we were discussing putting that pad there, because we put it closer to their fence. Instead of just for basically for plowing purposes. And they were agreeable and said that's great, and they the recycling said that they would also be putting the privacy slats in the back, so when you're looking from the ball field, you're not looking at the bins.
Right.
So that will eventually, my understanding is at some point in the near future, be fenced in. So. Yeah. Any other questions? Roll call?
We don't have a motion or support.
Oh, just kidding. Is there a motion to
Approve this bill?
approve the bill?
I'll make the motion.
Support? Any other discussion? Roll
It's
call.
gonna come
Oh,
out of savings or where?
Capital,
Capital outlay.
yeah,
For building and ground.
or building.
Or building
and ground.
Building and grounds,
Right. I'll look and see which one doesn't need a budget adjustment.
doesn't require.
Capital
budget.
outlay it has to be, you know,
Over,
5,000.
Yeah. So building. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Supervisor Kozibowski.
Yes, motion carried. Just give me a second to find the memo. Moving on to the water sewer billing update. You want me to just run with this one?
We can all,
So you,
I think all three of us can run with this
yeah,
one.
so everybody should have received the memo that F and B sent out regarding the issues that we've had with the water and sewer billing since we changed over in April. There's definitely no denying that we've had a lot of issues with it. I think it was basically a perfect storm of all the things that could go wrong, did go wrong, all at the time that we didn't need them to go wrong. So there's been a lot of conversation about whether or not it would be in the best interest of the township to go back to quarterly billing.
Yes.
Since I'm talking about it, we'll go first, but please lay all your input out there. I think that we just need to stick with it. I know it's been tough, but I am hopeful that we've gotten things sorted out, and I think we need to at least see it out for the first year to see if the issues with BSNA are fixed. I think it's also really important to recognize that we had staffing issues during the last 6 months, so we were operating short staff. These are conversations that I've already also had with Kath. And like I said, I think that we need to give it the time to kind of let it play out. I know it was hard, but I'm not one to turn around in the face of something difficult. So I think that we should just stick it out and see, and then reevaluate the billing scenario in April or possibly in March. Another thing to consider with that is, and Tim, correct me if I'm wrong on this, that we would need to do, if we did decide to go back to quarterly billing, we would need to do an ordinance amendment, which takes 2 meetings. So now you're looking at December, January. And after speaking to the utility billing clerk, she also suggested, which Kath suggested as well, that if we did that, we would need to ease into the transition back instead of transitioning everybody all at one time. We would need to kind of wait out the end of their cycle to switch them back to quarterly. So just things for the board to consider.
Are different customers then on different, in other words, well, you do the reading in the same month, right?
No,
For everybody?
there's 3 different cycles
Three
plus an
different cycles.
additional cycle of the monthly read that we do. I know a lot more about this than I ever thought I would, so let me start with that. We do have some customers who get read and billed monthly. The other customers are split into 3 cycles. So each month, 1 cycle gets read and 2 cycles get estimated.
Yes, exactly correct. We are currently in a 3-cycle program, so we read 1/3 of the township every month. So cycle 1, cycle 2, and cycle 3 essentially boils down to having the north section, the west and central section, and the southern section read on every cycle.
And the commercials,
So we're currently still reading, I believe, is the top 50 commercial accounts on a monthly basis. So our top end users, just to make sure we have consistent revenue coming in. And that was something that we read those businesses every single month, just to read their meters and make sure we get an accurate reading on them, because their bill for the township creates the most revenue.
were they being billed like that before?
No, everybody was on a quarterly billing until we switched to this. Once we switched over to monthly billing, we did consistently read our top 50 customers on a monthly basis with meter reads every time. And then we were also, in addition to that, reading the 1 cycle per month.
Okay.
But
I just have a question here that, this a memo from FNV, it says billing all customers not considered, but FOP stated that existing water meters and meter reading technology cannot support actual reads of all meters monthly and recommended waiting in comprehensive monthly billing until a meter replacement program could be imminent. Was that given any consideration?
We have talked about it.
Pardon?
we would have talked about that back in February, March.
But did we talk about that? I mean, F&B is saying,
I don't remember specifically
either.
talking about
I don't
that in
think it's-
detail.
I'm gonna jump in and give
Yep,
my
go
opinion, and
ahead.
it's the opposite of Anthony's. I think we've tried it for 6 months. I have never seen so many angry people calling. We can't keep up with phone calls. It is a customer service nightmare. And I think it's time to pull the plug on it and give our residents better service.
can I just add?
Yeah.
With this, we've been working with F&B, for how many years we've been with you now?
Since 2020, sir.
Okay, and we've been going by all their suggestions and everything, and why did we overlook this one?
I don't remember talking
I don't
about this.
remember.
Well, I remember asking at a meeting, has all things been checked out? Has everything been cleared about doing this? And everything's been fine. But apparently we didn't know about this one. You must have known about it because you'd have told somebody.
We originally had the discussions about this, about switching over the monthly billing, and we were kind of sold down the path from the billing software company we use, that it would be an easy transition and everything should be hunky dory, and we found that was not the case. We spent hours and hours and hours and hours
Right.
getting.
They keep telling us that, oh, they've got it now, they've got it now. Well, it's 6 months down the road and we haven't had a single month that's been pleasant.
This is BSNA, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I mean, this month we're paying somebody to fold and stuff the bills because we don't have time to do it. We don't have the equipment. Our equipment that we have for folding and stuffing and doing postage was not set up to do that volume. It was set up based on doing 1/3 a month.
I thought that was all thought about ahead of time.
Apparently it all wasn't all thought about in as much as it should have been by
It-
everyone involved. Just because there were a lot of things that I think maybe just got overlooked and thought, oh, it'll be great to do monthly billing. You know, the customers will be happier because their bills will be less.
I
You
think
know,
it's,
it'll
the
be
concept is
beneficial
great,
to-
but until the technology is there, I don't think we should be doing it.
So it isn't just the meters, then
It's not just the
Yeah,
meters.
there's a whole
everything.
bunch of things
It's all the way
involved.
down.
It's like Abby said, a perfect storm. It definitely was. And we still have the same equipment for folding and stuffing.
And I mean.
The envelopes won't seal.
The envelopes have been a big problem.
The envelopes are, yeah, it's just,
Though I will add to that we did, I dropped off all of the water bills this morning to Allegra. And they called me, I don't know, maybe around 10 o'clock, I dropped them off. And, they called me to pick them up at 4 o'clock. So those are all done. They need to be sent for a posting.
and we're paying someone,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
already paying
Right.
a billing clerk
Right.
that should be doing that.
Right.
So,
I agree.
I understand.
And the thing is, even about being short-staffed, I asked Kath just flat out when it was, we were down a person, you know, out in the field. And I said, you know, we're paying you for 3 people, you know, and we've been down a person. Well, she was very adamant that you're still getting all of that service because they had brought someone else up to help. I didn't know that. So I mean, to say we were, so in my mind, with her saying that would be like, we weren't short-staffed. I mean, because you had somebody kind of coming up and helping fill in that gap as far as out in the field.
Certainly, we have other projects that we're able to pull staffing from where our needs. The unfortunate situation of is they're not used to running this project. They will have to be. They can put on the macro stuff, but the micro stuff of knowing where the locations of stuff are and doing it proficiently, that just takes training.
Right.
And having somebody come up here once a week, twice a week to help out with stuff, they're not going to have the training time to do it. And how much time do we want to spend on training them to be proficient in a job when they're not going to be here full time? It's one of those catch-22s where yes, they come up here and help us when things happen, and we're very appreciative of it. But now that have staff on cycle again and they're getting trained and getting stuff done efficiently, that is what is the biggest benefit to us and being able to read meters on a proficient time.
So for example, if someone, and I think Angela had put a sample in here, maybe. But anyway, I know she gave some samples, but say for instance, somebody in cycle 1, they get their flat rate bill. Their estimated bill is $60.91. So they pay that this month in November. Their next month, it's a flat rate again, $60.91. Well, and then the next month, they could get a $200 bill. Because within the 3 months, the way I understand it is that's based on 7,000 gallons. If they go over that 7,000 gallons within the 3 months, that's where, and they go over another 3,000 to 5,000 gallons, that's made up on that third bill. So to me, it's really not benefiting our customers in my original mind, that thinking they were going to be evenly distributed bills for the 3 months, not little and big.
Well, there's another problem that BSNA kind of sold us on. BSNA
Right.
made it sound like we could estimate their usage on those in between months and not just have their minimum of $60.91, whatever it may be. We found that was not the case. Some customers being way overcharged, others were being very, very undercharged, and it was not consistent and they didn't have a reason for it.
And if you remember in July, that was our original issue with the billing. That's when it all started, was that July bill, because the customers were grossly underestimated, therefore undercharged.
Right. But then if you're the customer and you get your bill and you think, oh, I paid my bill, and then you get another bill because apparently I was undercharged, you know, this doesn't make happy customers. You know what I mean? So it's like, we hear it every day, and it's really sad. And then it's like, what am I supposed to do? I have to pay my bill. You know, then it's been very difficult.
I'll give you a practical one. I'll give you mine. So, several months ago, I got a large, water bill, $1,700, I think it was. And then, and that was part of my own fault because I irrigated my ground too much. So I changed that, and as I understand it, we went from last year's to make adjustments for the coming year, because you don't have any other history other than, you know, my own individual past. So then I got a 0 water bill for 2 months in a row. And then I got what I thought was a 30-day bill for $363.39. And then Abby had mentioned to me at a meeting that we were at that it was wrong and you're going to get a different one. It might be higher, it might be lower. So I got another one for $769.95.
I didn't know.
But here's what was really threw me, because I kind of thought I understood, you know, what we were trying to do and the monthly billing and so on. But on the actual bill, it's for 30 days. Abby's letter was for, no, it's for a quarter. And then when I talked to the billing clerk, oh, no, that's for 6 months. So I still don't know whether it's 30
because of the
days,
July
a quarter, or 6
During the
months.
cycle.
In your specific case, the reads for the last cycle had to be estimated, so we had to skip that 3 months of area just because we have of the staffing issues. And so Angela all 3 are correct.
So this is sort of my point, right?
Correct,
Is that-
exactly.
Is that the average customer is going to go, what in the world is going on? What do I owe? And how do I know this is right? One says one thing, another one says another thing, and then the third one says something completely different.
Correct.
So what I would propose that I would be able to do in this case is just add them all up and have one big aggregate 10-month bill. Maybe that's not the way I should be looking at it, though. So,
I think-
so
I
it
think
is
you'd be
very,
overpaying.
it's very, very confusing.
Yes.
And when I read the memo from F&V, what made sense to me, because we don't have the telemetry to deal with the monthly billing. So we are effectively guessing 2 months and then squaring up on the third month. I understand that. It makes sense to me that if we have the top commercial users, it's easier for F&B to go out and do an actual read on those clients because they're small numbers.
Correct.
And then we should consider pulling back to where we were, where there wasn't any real issues with the billing. Because clearly F&V didn't think it was a very good idea. BSNA thought they could do something that couldn't do something. And we sort of went along with what we thought was the accurate information, only to find out now that it's not. And so to me, it makes more sense, even though it's going to take, time to adjust the ordinances and that sort of stuff.
It'd take us
And-
5 months to do it, minimum 5
Well,
months.
But it'll take a minimum, that's right?
No.
Plus-
Tim, if we introduced it, a special meeting,
Yes.
we could introduce it, maybe have a meeting next week if it worked. And then adopt it on December, what day was that, 15th, that we're having that meeting? Then it would be able to go into practice like January 1st.
Yeah, I just have to,
I mean, I would be willing that we have a special meeting.
I've
Just
just
to
got to
get-
publish a notice of introduction.
And how many days after that, then, yeah.
Well, and I think also, if that's the direction this board's going to take, then I think if there's one thing that I've learned through this is that we have to do a better job of communicating this information to our users. Because if all of a sudden now they're expecting a monthly bill, now we're gonna go to a quarterly bill, we've got to communicate that better. Somehow, whether it's on our Facebook page, whether it's on a very clear memorandum that goes out with the water bill, something that so that everybody understands that. And just say it like it is, we just didn't have the right information and as a result of that, we're rethinking, just like the folks at Cracker Barrel rethought themselves. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with saying why we're doing this.
We could say why.
Yeah, and just being very transparent about it, because otherwise people are gonna get confused again.
And to the supervisor's point too, we will have to roll it back if the board decides to go that way. Not all at once, but have to be eased back into it so we don't get too far behind. And another concern that we're having is making sure that the township books are looking fine. So when it comes time to audit, everything can be explained and looked at and be proper.
So one question, so if we went back to the quarterly, and I know we talked about cash flow originally, are we doing, do you know how many commercial accounts we're reading monthly?
I can get you exact number, but my guess would be around 50.
So I guess my thought is if we go back to the quarterly and we
Except
do,
for them.
except for the commercial, let's say we do 50, are we gonna have the cash flow to continue?
It is our belief that's going to be that way. Obviously, you're still going to have less cash flow because you're not billing everybody monthly.
Well,
But that being said, your highest end users are those people, whether it be your car washes, your apartment complexes. Those are the highest end users that the township is seeing their most revenue from. So will not be changing.
so my thought would be if we're gonna do that, maybe we do the top 100,
Absolutely.
not 50.
Right.
That would be my
Right, and if
recommendation.
I
top how many?
understand correctly.
Top 100.
100, yeah, I 100, I totally agree with you that if one of the reasons why we did this to begin with, well, let me rephrase that. One of the things that we learned when we did this initially, we had a lot more cash flow. And we were able to do things without having to sort of borrow from the general fund to pay something.
Right.
So if the top 50 bring in a lot of the majority of the revenue, then the top 100 would bring in more. And the vast majority, if not all, of our residential customers won't be confused by what we're doing until such time as we have the telemetry and the software in order to do the monthly billing.
Just want to also keep in mind as we go to the top 50 to a top 100, you're going to have depreciation value of how your top customers are. You know, your user number of 49 is going to use more water than user number 63.
Right.
You know, so you're going to have depreciation coming in from that aspect as well. Not to say it's going to be a big difference or anything like that, but it's just something to keep in mind as well.
So you're basically saying there's a point of diminishing return.
Correct.
And so you're probably, or somebody is probably better at knowing that than I am, because I don't pay attention at all to that. You guys know more about that, and the water, somebody here knows something about who the top 75 customers are.
Correct. I mean, and Tim, you could extract me if I'm wrong, but we could maybe start with the top 50 and see how that goes. And if we're not happy with the numbers, maybe we can take it up to the top 75. And if that's not how it goes, we can try to do top 100 on our monthly bill. I mean, is that something that would have to be approved, or is that something that would have to change with an ordinance, or is that something we could just do in-house, like it's just a separate cycle?
I think I need to get some flexible wording in there to give the township just some discretion to determine which ones to do monthly and which ones to do quarterly. So I'd have to look at our last amendment.
Okay.
And so I'll do that, and I'll include you on the email.
I mean, can it possibly be written like up to the top 100 commercial accounts can be read monthly, or?
Yeah, or maybe it's stating that bills may be done quarterly, you know, or I mean, really just babbling right now. May be done quarterly or monthly.
Depending on who you are.
Depending on who you are.
Like it or not.
Another suggestion too, is there a way to word that so when the
Establish
township
it.
does eventually get a different meter system and they're able to read monthly automatically, is there a way to word that in the ordinance so you don't have to come back to the board?
Yeah,
So
that's-
we approve it
That's
and
gonna be
just,
my goal.
exactly, okay.
And I just want to say, I don't know if it has been helping our cash flow as much, because it sounds to me like the majority of people were underbilled. And also our cash flow looks really good right now because we have not been billed for a lot of our digs. So
Hmm.
once we get these
Hmm.
large
Yeah.
bills for the digs, that last year or the year before was 250,000, all came at once.
Oh, jeez.
Cause they don't bill us for 6 months sometimes.
6 months, 8 months,
Right.
so.
Well, just look at the cost. And I didn't bring that up in your report, but it was like the last 2 months looked like they were pretty steep.
Oh, correct. Just just for,
Down to the 120.
yes, I mean, we've been going through a lot of copper and brass supplies just for service lines.
Speaking of that, I also want to bring up, one of the other issues that we've been having is our number of misdigs. If you go back and look through, we've had a significant increase in the misdigs that we've been doing, which the water department has to go do those. We're required to do them, which also pulls our staff away from doing other things like the meter reading.
That's probably for that Lake Shore fiber.
Yes. So just, again, just things to keep in mind.
Who resolve an issue when a customer comes in, and who works with them to resolve that bill?
Generally, it's the utility billing clerk. She's the one that has that information
Okay,
easily
if
accessible.
they're not satisfied with her or his decision, where do they go next?
Next would be to me.
Okay, is that something that you work with the customer? We need to get these customers back on line of being friendly and getting friendly service at an accurate number. So we might have to eat some pro down the roads.
Generally, I would say people call frustrated because they don't understand, just as Steve explained, which is difficult to understand, the billing just in general, because we use the 1,000 gallons as a basis. So usually when they call or they leave a message or they leave their lovely notes on their bills, we contact them, Angela or I will talk to them and explain the situation. Angela goes through the spreadsheet with them and shows them how their water is calculated, and explains that sometimes if you're at the end of a cycle, and we can't bill until we've reached the next 1,000, which is something that I did not clearly understand until, I don't know, a few months ago. So if you use 7,999 gallons in that cycle, when you're red, you're only getting billed for 7,000 gallons, which is the minimum. But the second you use that next gallon, you're automatically getting billed for another 1,000 gallons. Because that's how we read them, by the thousands.
In the next cycle.
In the next cycle. So again, these are all things, like I said, that's something that I didn't really understand. And I think Laura and I have had that conversation, Michelle and I have had that conversation. That's something that I just didn't really understand.
But what
Go
I'm
ahead.
leading to is there a point when we really get a constituent that's very unhappy with what's going on? How are we gonna get that resolved?
I think that Angela has done an excellent job of resolving that.
That's good.
I haven't had anybody call me afterwards, after she has explained or I've explained, and say, I still don't understand. I take that back. I do have one person that's come here a couple times in the last month, who happens to be a cycle 2 customer that had all the issues with their cycle, and brought all of their paperwork, and we went through everything, and they understand it and said, okay, so my understanding is when I get my bill, my meter will be read in January, so when I get my February bill, it should be this amount. And he was spot on with it, through the understanding and explanation that Angela was able to give him.
Do we also do this in a timely manner for these people?
That's been a source of a sore topic.
That we need improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely room for improvement there. I think we've done the best that we can, but certainly room for improvement.
Yeah, I personally can say that she did a fine job. It did take her a couple of days to get back, and I completely understood why. And she did spend enough, probably more time than she needed to with me to explain it. But I can see where if she's spending 5 to 7 minutes per customer times however many hundreds of customers, you can't get through it, and that other things are going to slip. Other important issues are going to fall apart.
Absolutely.
Oh, go ahead.
You were saying we could have a meeting next week and then on the.
Well,
15th?
we could have, depending on the timeline that Tim's gonna let us know.
Yeah, I'll draft it.
Would it be nice if we could have this effective by January 1st?
And so then
I'll
by
draft
March
it.
31st, we would be through all 3 cycles and we would
Yes.
be back on
On track,
quarterly bill.
yes. Hopefully have,
But
and hopefully this will be forgotten in the past.
because
But we end up
Thanksgiving is this
Just as
week,
many problems trying to.
2 days from now, 3 days.
What?
It's because Thanksgiving's this week.
Right.
December starts next week on
Next-
Monday.
Right.
Are we rushing this by getting it January 1st?
I think so. I think we need to wait to the completion of this next cycle, this next quarter, before we reevaluate it. That would give time for F&V to be able to pull what the numbers are, and give us a better guess at what those high-end users are. We would know a better idea, I think, of our cash flow. And again, we are now back to having full staff.
Well, we can put that in the letter saying we're doing all these things and we're gonna take time to do it, but I think that we need to get over this hump.
I agree with you.
If January 1st is an appropriate time with all the holidays and everything else that's involved in there. I think we should do this maybe a little bit better than we did it last time, and I don't know what that is, but let's not make it a double whammy. We just need to do our homework. And I'm okay with a meeting next week, but let's get some homework done when we come to that meeting. We know what we're doing.
What is the end of the quarter?
The end of the quarter. So it depends what cycle you're on.
Well, that's what I was wondering, what you said about the end of the
So
quarter.
I'm saying the end of cycle 2's quarter, which would be January read.
Correct.
Um,
Okay.
because that is
two,
the cycle
correct.
that's had the issues. So Angela did go through cycle 1 and cycle 3 and just kind of cherry pick through to see if any of them had the miscalculated bills. But it was cycle 2, which we knew after looking at it that that was the problem. And we understand why it was a problem
Why
So-
was it? I was just curious.
because the bills were estimated.
Two.
And so they were
Oh,
estimated.
oh,
too
twice.
low,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yep, yep, I knew
Right,
that.
and
Yep.
that caused the issues with the
Right.
bills. So that is my point. I'm not against going back. I don't think there's any shame in saying, hey, we tried this. It didn't work out. We'd like to try it again in the future if we can get new meters, when we get new meters. But I also think we need to, we're in a really hard part right now. And I think I'm hopeful that we've gotten through all the hard part. And what happens if the next quarter, everything works out fabulously and we're on track and we still have our cash flow and our customers are getting the bills the way they're supposed to and we're doing awesome. Now we made a rash decision to change it. Also, clearly,
I
it
do-
could be worse.
I do feel like we've lost some trust
Mhm.
from the public with this move.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say too, aside from explaining to the customers and them understanding, you know, why the bill is what it is. There's also on the other side of that, people come in and they're like, I'm like, well, would you like to talk to somebody, you know? No, I don't have time. No, it doesn't matter. You know, they get frustrated with that too. So there are the people that want to sit and understand their bill and other people are like, it doesn't matter what I say. I'm still gonna get this. And they don't want to take the time.
Is part of that on us for not communicating it
Right.
properly?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, we
We
want
need
to
to own
do,
that.
we want to do better. You know?
So how do we fix that? Cause I can tell you, I've taken a lot of complaints on it.
Mhm.
I don't even know what to tell them anymore. but-
Right.
But somehow we need to explain this or convey the information.
So something that I had talked to F&V about really a month ago was putting together some type of a video explaining this is how this is actually calculated. This is how this is working. If you're in this cycle, you're getting red on this month. And then you will get an estimated bill for the next 2 months, which is where you get that flat rate fee. Your third month is your true up. I think there's a lot of confusion about that, which, you know, obviously we get the phone calls about it. I don't disagree with that. But trying to explain it over the phone is almost impossible. And as Steve said in the notes that we send with the bills, it's just not enough. So I think it would be helpful if we had some type of I don't know, 2-minute long video showing this is your billing, this is how it's calculated, this is how we figured it out. This is, as Angela explains it, per 1,000 gallons of water, which I don't have the memo right in front of me, but per 1,000 gallons of water, it's like $12.87 per.
I believe.
For water, and then 12 something, some change for the sewer. So roughly every 1,000 gallons, if you're a water and sewer customer, roughly every 1,000 gallons you go over is $25 additional to your bill. And you can go through and look at your bill and see, and they have access to that online to say, well, it looks like I per quarter usually use about 14,000 gallons, so I can expect my bill will be this much.
But so some of these people, it's the fact that they're using more. So
Yes.
On top of
And-
that.
Right, and unfortunately with cycle 2,
They fill-
those months that were being estimated were summer months where people swear they weren't using the water, they didn't leave their hose on, their kids, my kids, weren't playing in the sprinkler for hours and hours and hours, and then I got my bill and was like, whoa, you know, but I definitely know that I use that water.
So there's a potential these could be more anomalies than.
That's what I'm
the
saying,
masses.
I'm just saying, let's see it through at least one more cycle and see if there is a positive change. If not, we're after the holiday and we can revisit it and do the amendment and change it.
I'm just so worried about the trust
Well, me too. And
with
it's
the,
like,
with our board not being trust because of people think we're screwing them on the bills. I hate to throw the fire millage out there, but I'd like to, Norm wants a blight millage, we want a fire millage. If we don't do something now to gain some trust back. And this was a failed experiment and it just got the public riled up. And I think we need to own it. And set it straight. Because people think that this whole billing thing was a way for us to rip them off, try to get more money out of them. They don't understand it. I mean, F&B, who we have taken their advice since 2020, did not recommend going to this, and we did.
That's what she said. I had a offense to that because That's what Kat said in this memo.
I
but
don't think we
remember-
were all aware of that.
Yeah, I
I
don't think
don't
we got
think
any
the whole board was
information.
made aware that
No.
they were not.
When you say the whole board, I'm assuming you're talking about me, but I obviously didn't know that either because I had a conversation with her about that today as well.
Oh.
If she would have said, this is a terrible idea, I certainly would have brought that to the board meeting. But she was also in the board meetings on Zoom when we were talking about doing this. If it was that terrible of idea, I think that she would have said, hey, don't do this. It's a trap. You're gonna destroy everything. The public's gonna hate you. That conversation didn't happen.
But I don't think he knew either that it
But now we know
with
this.
BSNA.
But now we know it.
Right,
Well, now we know it, so
That's
why are
So-
we correct?
So
Right.
why, so why
Right.
do
We
we
still
want
don't
to
have the
kick the can down the road?
right, right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think wait another month. One thing I do want to say though is we did talk and Abby, you had mentioned about doing the video. And the thing that I would like to see from you is like, you say, hey, let's do this video. I'm gonna do this. Then let's do it. You know, not wait a month to do it. Let's-
Yes, and the hang up with that is Kath said FMV is not gonna do that video. So
No.
that's me to do it, which I'm happy to do
But I'm
that.
just saying a lot of times it's like, well, we're gonna do this and then it like, I don't see it happening. I mean, just like with the lights on M32, it took months to get that to happen. And I think communication, we need to absolutely communicate better, all of us.
I agree.
So are we looking for some kind of a motion? What are we looking for?
I'd say no, at this point, I'll have some wording and share it with the three officials and with Nathan. And, feel free to give me feedback. Then Michelle can schedule a meeting. Then it'd be up to the board whether to adopt the motion. or
Exactly.
The ordinance or not, or introduce it.
Let's at least put that in, you need a motion to put that in motion.
It'd be fine for the minutes, just a motion to direct the township attorney to draft an ordinance regarding billing
All right,
for the water and sewer board.
I make that motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Is there any other discussion?
Third.
You supported that, Steve?
I did.
Yes. Can we do that as a voice?
Yeah.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's the same. Motion carried.
Course.
Talk amongst yourselves. Just kidding, you're being recorded.
Where'd she go?
Is it nap time or something?
So we're,
I-
I guess.
Vacated the
We
premises
can
for a
continue.
moment.
The chief can start talking about his bill. I'm sure the clerk knows. Yeah, can we move forward and at least,
Sure, go ahead, chief.
she probably already knows about the bill.
I'm sure she does.
Before I get to our quote, just a quick update from the fire department, because I was not here last, board meeting, do my travels to Africa. Just wanted to give you an update. Continues to see our call volume increase. It's up 14% from last year at this point. So again, high demand on the fire department.
are we comparing the same number? I mean, is there been a difference in criteria?
No, it's the exact same numbering that we had from last year, which actually is from the board's desire to see a lower type of incident call structure. We have stopped going to some of the elderly care facilities in the township.
Yeah.
So that has taken away at least three places that we don't go to, and we still see this increase. So that's the kind of the amazing part of it, because anticipated we could see another 100 calls out of those three facilities in a year. We did have a structure fire on Naylor Road. Thanks to the homeowners and Michigan State Police and our quick actions, kept that from becoming a total loss, kept it to one room. Press release was put out for that, so that was something that was shared with the board as well as the community. We had numerous community engagements with Halloween activities, the trunk or treats, safety presentations. We did the Veterans Day Parade. Our training has continued to increase. As of date, there was 990 hours total for the department, and I think that is a significant change from years gone by. There is a more emphasis on training. And we're developing programs to help our full-time staff. So we've focused on all full-time staff doing officer development and leadership training during the month. So every month they are assigned certain training tasks that they have to complete. So that all includes into those training hours, which reflects a strong commitment to readiness, safety, and professional growth. The one thing I really wanted to mention was I didn't leave with just trying to hope for your approval of significant amount of money as I left for the fire department. That money has already been put into use, and the apparatus are in the process of being updated. So all of the testing has been accomplished. We still have oil change on 2 vehicles yet to happen, but all the testing on the vehicles and 2 vehicles have all brand new tires on them. So that was a significant issue. The current NFPA standard requires tires on fire apparatus to be changed no matter what every 10 years. So those 2 needed it, and that's why they were the ones that that money was put aside for. We also completed all the ladder testing, all of our SCBA units, so our air packs have been flow tested and meet standards. So all of that stuff goes along with our operational readiness and making sure that we meet or exceed national safety standards. Hose was also done earlier in the summertime, so to speak. So included in my report was just a quick summary. And the biggest thing is staffing. We have to start looking at our staffing. We do not meet the current standards for staffing requirements set by NFPA standards. And that's been a discussion since I've been here and probably long before. So we really need to start looking at ways of increasing staffing. I've talked with the clerk and the personnel committee a few different times on those topics, on what potential options that we might have. We currently have been notified within the next 8 months, we will probably lose 3 full-time staff due to retirements and other opportunities. So we are currently accepting applications for full-time firefighter EMTs. And we've got 3 on the books right now. Next week, we'll be putting together a plan to start the process of hopefully getting them on a list that we can pick from once these folks do give their notification of leaving the department. But I just wanted to mention that that's why that summary is part of it. You've all been very supportive for the fire department, and I want to make sure that that continues. And I want to give you as much information so you can make determined decisions based on current required standards, and being able to provide you with as much information as I can to help you in making your decisions. So that was the big thing with the fire report.
But when you talk about staffing, you're talking about more staff than what you have now.
Correct.
Not just replacing what you're going to do.
Correct, yes. So standards require that a certain number of firefighters are on scene of a house fire within a certain number of minutes. the last fires that we had, we've not met that standard.
You're not sending four out there, right?
Correct. So the last big structure fire that we had was on, Sheridan Road. Thank you. Within the first 15 minutes, there was only 4 people there.
Four people.
4 people.
That's not,
That is not enough.
okay, what is enough?
The standard says, I believe it's 10 within 15 minutes.
Is that?
Now,
four-
obviously, we can't there are certain guidelines that we've got to go by, but that means that we have to do recruitment of paid on call personnel, which we've had some interest. But we've looked at some hiring and they just did not pan out. And then others have no training. So we're trying to make that process of how can we get them in there. But, really what this comes down to is a lot of spotlight in the headlines right now of townships, cities, departments facing lawsuits because of fatalities of firefighters on scene or community members on scene because they didn't meet these standards. And I want to try to keep away from that one significant event that can put not only the department, but the township in ruins.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? You said, for that fire, 4 people showed up. Was that, or 4 firefighters? Was that just from our department or was that including the?
In the first
city
10 minutes, yes. So, we
combined, or-
did call for assistance, but it then takes them longer because what happens is if we don't call them as we're en route, or once we get on scene to see what we have, then it takes them their alarm time to go for their alarm, to get to their fire station, to staff their fire truck to come. And then it might be 2 people on a fire truck.
So it's not automatic that the city and we go at the same time for a
No.
fire?
No, the only thing that the city currently sends is an ambulance with 2 people, and they are not allowed to enter the hot zone to fight fire. They are there to help with the ambulance support. So we're working on that with Mavis. But it's still an issue of staffing across the county. Some of the departments don't have double digits of firefighters for their entire township.
Well, and not only that, but you don't have the people to draw from to get those.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you could have, even if you had the funding for more people, you can't find them.
Well, it's a draw. You've got to be able to draw and attract the attention. I mean, that's why we're going to lose full-time staffing, is because they can find employment at a higher rate. So, being in Northeast Michigan, yes, the pool is, I call it kind of shallow. But I think that's across the country, that the pool is getting shallower because the interest is not there for people to be firefighters.
Same.
But moving on to the quote for Home Depot. So that quote is met with our good friends at Home Depot, and they had gotten me in contact with the Milwaukee representative. So what this is to put the department, the entire department, both stations and both frontline engines into one manufacturer for some of our equipment. Because right now we have on the apparatus, we've got Milwaukee tools for our cordless reciprocating saw and a standing light. So a portable light that we can use that can be either plugged in or use battery power. We don't have really enough batteries for those. So each engine has 2 batteries and a charger on it for the equipment. what I'm putting together basically gives us the ability to have 7 batteries. I think it was at each station with 3 chargers. It also gets us the ability to, because of the deals that they're giving. So if we get these kits, everything's in kits, and every time you buy a kit, you get a another tool. So 2 of those tools would be some hand held blowers for the apparatus and the stations to keep the floors clean and the leaves out. When we have the doors up, we'll get some additional ground lights that will replace some old lights. And the best thing about those are also can be run on a cord or a battery. So what is currently in place is we've got some Ryco drills at the station. And here at Northside has got 1 battery and it doesn't hold a charge very well. We utilize that drill to help raise and lower the trailer that's got the ATV in it. And a lot of times it doesn't have the power to lift it enough to get it onto a truck. So this will replace that. We'll have plenty of batteries that will then be rotated through the stations and the trucks. So they don't have a primary function where they're just being used for one thing and getting overused or underused. Just in coupon savings, it's about $400. And then with all the equipment savings, it's over $1,000 in savings. So that's why that quote is being put up for board approval, so we can become under one brand, and that's Milwaukee. Yes, sir.
Who else have you got quotes from?
Right now, Home Depot is the only one that's got that kind of deal.
Have you checked with other places?
So Ace is another place. I have not checked on the prices for that, but they're probably a little comparable, but because of the deals that we already get at Home Depot, they're knocking down a significant cost.
What about Fitzpatrick?
That's who I was thinking, Ace. Yeah, same thing. Well, Fitzpatrick Hardware and Ace have Milwaukee, but no, I did not get a quote from them. I can see if they will match this.
Do we find ourselves getting into a corner if we get too much of one particular brand and then that brand decides that we're not going to make this product anymore or that battery anymore? And does that all of a sudden make all of these obsolete?
Not with the brand name that we're going with. I don't see Milwaukee ever going out of business.
Well, I don't see them going out of business either, but what I meant is that changing a style and now all of a sudden that battery won't fit onto the piece of equipment that we own, and whereby making, now you got to go out and buy. So in other words, planned obsolescence, I guess is what I'm getting.
No, I don't see that happening. They make these to be used in multiple tools. So we're getting this, and this is just a small portion of the catalog of tools that they use these same batteries for. So I don't see them changing that for several years.
We did this personally in my household because we use Ryobi, and that's the thing. It's like, get these batteries that come with it. The battery costs as much as the tool, and it's like, that's why we're sticking to a certain brand too.
You mentioned something about cordless blowers, but I don't see that on this list.
That's because of the kits that we're getting. That's a tool that comes with. So I put in what we're getting, and then the tools that we get because of those kits have been kind of picked of what we would want. And it's extra batteries and the handheld blowers.
So it's a bonus.
It's a bonus. Yeah, that's where that's where that equipment savings is $1,000 in extra batteries and the blowers.
So we're getting about $3,400 worth of equipment for 2,000.
Yes,
I don't even see that on here, equipment savings.
that's all based on my
398.
own calculations.
And
Oh, I
then
see.
the cost of what the bonus stuff is that we're not paying for.
Because what they put on the thing is cost savings is coupons. And then we get everything tax exempt, obviously.
Big better not pay tax.
Oh,
I'll
good,
find
because
you.
the tax.
I will
Nazi.
find you.
Go ahead, Norm.
I'd still like to see a quote from Fitzpatrick or Ace. Maybe they don't even want to give you one, but, I have nothing against Home Depot,
Mhm.
but I think everybody in our township needs a crack at this.
Okay,
And we also got another one, that has Milwaukee, oh shoot. What's the one? They got a place in Harrisville, Northeastern Window and Door. They got a big Milwaukee thing. And they also have a place right here in Alpena.
okay.
I mean, maybe they won't even want to do it, but I think we need more than just one. Maybe this is a special deal that.
That's kinda how I took it,
in
but
on it. They
most
should be able to
definitely.
Be entitled to that also.
Sure. That's how I took it, was they've got all these deals going on for Black Friday and for all the other stuff that's coming up.
So are you gonna lose out on this if you don't buy these
No.
by Black Friday?
No, I don't believe so. They said they would hold that. We've made some good connections with Home Depot from the event that was held there during Fire Prevention Week. I have no problem going out to Fitzpatrick, Ace, wherever else in the township that we can see about this and either match or beat this quote for the same exact
On the
pieces.
bottom of this, it says prices valid through 11/25/2025. Just today.
Tomorrow.
Well, could we authorize this amount if somebody can beat it, then
I'm sure they would extend it.
We're gonna, I mean, if you think you can get it extended, we can approve this at the December 15th meeting.
I can go tomorrow and
Or if we have a. special
find
meeting.
out if they can beat the quote.
We'll probably not have a special meeting.
Yeah, we'll wait for Tim.
Like I said, I can go out tomorrow and see if that quote can be beat.
So are we looking for a motion to table it to the 15th for more quotes? Is that what you want, Norm?
No, I'm just saying, we're always asking for extra prices, at least 3 quotes, and we only have one here. At least we have something to go against this, and I'm not against Home Depot, but we have other customers, other businesses in this township that I think need to be able to look at this.
So are you making a motion?
Make a motion to get some other quotes on this before we go through it.
So is that, would that be to table it till we get more quotes?
How else would you want to word it?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, Norm, how you want to word it. Because we're not gonna be making a decision on this today.
I'd say then table it to our next meeting, or it's gonna be 3 weeks away anyway.
Right.
Okay, so there's a motion to table the Home Depot
I'll support.
purchase. Okay. Any other discussion?
Yes.
All those in favor of tabling the Home Depot, the purchase of Milwaukee tools until the next meeting, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed and saying. Motion carried.
Shell didn't go.
So what else?
We didn't go on.
Well, hey.
Hey.
Are you watching me now?
Guess it's gonna be up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. We talk to the IGs for it. Other than him. All right. And,
Okay.
but then I can say this.
Moving on to item number 8, the personnel officer. As you guys are all aware, the previous supervisor delegated his statutory duty of personnel officer to the clerk prior to my being sworn in. I'm sure there's lengthy conversation we can have about this, but to shorten that conversation, I will just make the board aware that I received verbal notification today from Lieutenant Stevens that he will be resigning, and I will be taking over as head of personnel effective upon his resignation date.
So not until his resignation date?
I am sure that the board would not appreciate that, so I'm happy to wait. Otherwise, if the board would like, I would take over effective immediately.
Has the chief been notified of this?
I just said I received notification.
No, you did.
today.
I just wondered if the chief was also notified. Oh,
I'm not aware.
did you think you'd say that boss.
I
I'm
believe
just
he's on
making a-
vacation. I don't know.
So when is it effective?
I expect that Lieutenant Stevens will turn in his 2-week notice tomorrow. So. I guess that day would be December
25th.
8th.
Oh,
Any discussion?
Date for sure.
no.
No.
I mean, until we see the paperwork.
So he's leaving, retiring, what did you say? I'm sorry.
He just said that he was giving his resignation a 2-week. So he authorized me to inform the board of that, and I would expect that you'll receive that tomorrow. Moving on to,
And I guess I'd like to make a comment.
Sure.
I just feel that whether this happened or not happened, but, I think the board should also possibly consider looking into hiring a superintendent that would be here year after year after year through all of our different elections, and that person is a steady, solid person.
Continuity.
That's an employee of our township that knows history going through different clerks, treasurers, trustees, supervisors, and that type of thing. I just think since we're a charter township, it would be nice to have that. We all learn. Every time we are elected, we start over, we learn, and I just think it would have to be something that's budgeted for in the future. But, just a thought.
okay, thank you. Is there any other discussion? All right, moving on to the fire chief.
I do have a question.
Oh, sorry.
So what happened to the personnel officer? Go ahead.
Oh, we haven't finished, we haven't got to things.
We are talking
That is
about-
what we're talking
Just
about
went
right now.
past it.
What's that?
There's nothing to, there.
Oh, yeah, the fire chief evaluation.
No, we're not even done with the personnel officer yet.
We're still discussing.
Yes, I said any other discussion, and I looked at Norm, and
Yeah, I'm saying where, if we come to something on this, yeah.
I will be taking over as my statutory duty as head of personnel, effective upon the resignation date given by Lieutenant Stevens, which I assume the board will receive tomorrow.
And Lieutenant Stevens is your husband.
Correct.
I just have one thing or a couple things I want to say. I am very happy to give that back to you. I did not get paid for it for a year and I'm happy. But I think the board or at least me would like to know what you've done to prepare yourself, because human resources, personnel, there's a lot of laws. And I don't know if you've taken classes, if you've gone to seminars, webinars, we'd all probably feel better knowing that you've got some background or training,
Sure. I'm happy to do whatever the board would like.
but you haven't done
I have
any
not
yet.
done any yet. I did not anticipate this happening.
So then why are you taking it
So,
over
yeah, I was just
without
gonna
any
say,
training?
are we
Right.
once again jumping into something?
Because it
too
is my
quickly?
statutory duty.
Okay, I get that, but I mean, if you don't,
But you also
know,
have the right to delegate it until you learn
Are
your way
really
around it.
prepared, right?
Correct. And we have a personnel committee. Which my understanding is that what the personnel committee was for, to work together as a board of 3 people. To work through all of these issues. If there is a specific training that you think would be beneficial for me, I'm happy to look into it and sign up for it.
So did you
I'm
let
not
the-
an HR specialist by any means.
So did you discuss this with personnel committee before you brought it to this board meeting?
No,
Why?
why?
Well, it's just transparency. It seems like if you had that drive to want to take it over, that
I've
you
been
would have
saying it for a
discussed that.
year. I've been saying for a year that
You
it's my
haven't-
statutory duty and I should be doing it. It's very clear to me that you guys don't want me to do it. I mean, I don't want to
I
blanket
just don't
statement,
think
but
that
it's very clear.
there's,
For whatever reason that is, which I'm happy to hear whatever your reasons are.
would it make sense to look into whatever classes may be offered by whether it be MTA or whomever that would prepare you
Sure.
for that position and then take that class in anticipation of being the personnel director, or do we want to put the cart before the horse? I guess is what I'm boiling it down to.
I'm happy to look into classes that are available, and once I have the resignation date, I'll be able to go
I think that would,
maybe further from there.
for what it's worth, that kind of makes sense to me that, you know, you probably don't want to jump into something that you might not be prepared to jump into.
Sure,
So
I can understand that.
my 2 cents.
And we've already done, I mean, a lot of training. Which is good. I just know we've spent a lot of money in attorneys too to get
To get-
advice on things.
Okay.
Well, we're just gonna have clear, consistent communication. You know, like hearing about it here at the table, that doesn't feel good, but
Oh, it would have been
I
nice
get it.
for you.
Yeah, the way this was thrown at us,
I'm not sure what you want me to say, if you want an apology, but I've been here for a year. And my first day and then my second day here were, if you want a good working relationship, you're gonna apologize to the board at the board meeting. So I did that. I was told that it wasn't,
it was not.
it wasn't sincere, exactly. So I'm not sure what you guys want from me. This is my statutory duty. There's nothing. Honestly, this entire year, there's nothing stopping me from taking it over. It's not a conflict of interest.
It was a conflict of interest when your husband works here. I will always disagree with you on that.
That's okay. You're allowed to do that. That's absolutely
That's
fine.
just because you say it's not a conflict of interest doesn't mean it's not. That's just
It's-
your opinion.
That's not my opinion. That's actually the legal opinion.
Well, then there's there is a ethical and moral. And it doesn't look good for the board. So if your husband is going to resign, I don't know why you just didn't wait till after he resigns.
I could have done that too. This is the path that I chose.
I think there needs to be also like, I mean, you and I spoke last week about an email that you were notified about. And I said, and that was last Monday, a week ago today, and I said, this was Friday, we had the discussion, and I said, well, have you contacted the other two personnel members? And you hadn't. That was 5 days went by. That's 5 days is a long time. I mean, if you're notified of something and you're part of personnel, then you should be letting the other members know in a timely manner, not 5 days.
Okay, I appreciate
And
your-
I just, things need to be done in a more timely manner.
Okay.
Communication.
Any other discussion? Okay. Moving on to the fire chief evaluation.
Chief, we do want to give you one more chance. You do have the option of doing this in closed session or open.
Open's fine.
Okay, I just want to get that on record that you want it open. I do have the average of the people who rated the chief. I sent it out to you. I don't know if anybody needs a hard copy of it. Do you, Cash? Need a hard copy of this?
Wasn't in your packet.
You want to read with Rob? Norm, do you need a?
I think I have my copy.
Okay.
The one you sent out, right? This one?
Yes, and I also attached
The note.
notes from the chief too, and I have the comments that different board members made.
I didn't get the
Hard
one.
copy.
She does, I said I have. Oh, that I have.
Debbie, do you have everything?
No, I have everything.
No, I'm good.
All the board members consolidated.
Oh, that's what this is?
Yeah.
This side.
And then-
Thank you.
Where's the chief?
The chiefs is this column is.
Oh, that's
score.
okay, that one, okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, I got that.
And then on the next page is the goals the chief presented that he would like us to review for next year.
So how many evaluations were turned in?
6 evaluations were turned in.
Oh, here.
So overall, the board rated you higher than you rated yourself, in an overall average. I don't know, do we want to go through each performance standard?
Just asking you.
No, I don't think.
I
that-
want you to be open and honest of your evaluation of me for this first year.
Do you want to go through each one?
Sure. Or you can do not by individuals, but if there's something that was seen that I can make improvements upon by any of the board members, I'd gladly take those in to be able to,
I'll start, chief.
okay,
And it's something I could probably say to every person in this room or that even works for the township, communication.
mhm,
We all need to make our communication clearer, better. It's, actually, it should be a goal for every one of us.
sure.
So,
And
I
I
think-
would say,
go ahead.
I would say out of, all of the complaints or feedback that I've had, that probably is the biggest one. But I think you're gonna have that no matter what. Because, you know, it always comes back to communication, so we definitely need to improve that in the department, between the board and you. So I would second that for sure.
I mean, overall, I think having an average score of 4.2 from the board is really good.
Okay, thank you.
That's out of 10, right? No.
That's not-
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, communication is where the lowest and,
Sure.
did I give you a copy of the comments? Chief,
No,
I'm gonna give this to you. You have any questions about comment?
okay,
That. And then we'll go over your goals for next year.
Chief, I'm curious on supervision. You rated yourself a 3. Why did you give yourself a 3?
I think that the reason I gave myself a 3 on that one is that it's meeting what is needed right now. That some of the abilities that I've been able to take in, I could have done better in exceeding those expectations. I think there's been a significant learning for this particular department, particularly in any of my prior experiences. And I don't know how to really convey to meet a higher expectation. I always think that you know, trying to do your best and kind of show and lead others, and not really have to set a guide of or a standard where the expectation is so high that it can't be achievable. But I do have some high standards, and I think wasn't able to bring everybody up to those standards in my eyes. And I've got to do a better job of doing that by leading and seeing what I can do to make all the other employees that much better. So that's why I put myself down, that I think I met your expectations of that. I didn't meet my own because of obviously some the history of the department and some of the things that have gone on, issues with the union. But we've been able to work through some of that. But I think that there's still room to improve upon. So that's the biggest key, I think, for me is making sure that we do those steps to improve.
So you've seen improvement, but you just haven't met your own standard.
Correct. I have definitely seen improvement. But yeah, I would, like, I've talked with many is, where was that bar at? And I felt that it was kind of low. We've raised it, but I would like to see it even higher. And that was one of the things I talked about with every person when I first got here, that there's an expectation. Where's the bar at? Some have it set pretty high, some others are kind of still floating around. But what we want to do is everybody get to a good high standard that the community can really get behind and support.
I think that's important too, is especially to pass a millage.
Yeah.
What I see is you have handcuffs on, one of them's off. Now you're moving forward.
How's that?
Well, you couldn't do some things you wanted to do because it just wasn't the right time to do it. I don't know what those things are, but.
I don't know if it was that, this was a learning experience in the first year of, there's been some significant change in the last 5 years for the department. So now it was, where do we see ourselves currently and where do we see ourselves going? So I think that is maybe where my learning curve has, like you said, maybe taken a handcuff off to be able to say, I understand where things were at. Now let's continue to move forward and make it the best that we can. And I think I've gotten to a majority of the staff to help and believe in that as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
I'm speaking for myself and some of the things that I've seen others do. And I just hope that continues.
and we all have to remember that the leadership was pretty weak before you came in. There was no accountability. And so trying to establish accountability and standards, it's natural for people to push back. So.
When you take on a job, I mean, it takes at least a year, if not longer, to actually feel like you know what, everything about what's going on. I mean, no matter what job it is that you ever take, there is that starting to feel
The
like
personalities.
Exactly.
And that's why I didn't like push to make any changes.
Right.
Significant changes right away, or
Right.
slow little pieces to get the step that we need to get to, I think is the important thing.
Yeah, it's very difficult to instantly expect people to meet your expectations when it's usually a trip to get there before people are all on board. So those sorts of things do take time. Change is difficult. And certainly the fire department has seen in its leadership since I've been here, 3 different styles of management. And so hopefully we're on the right track.
That's what I hope too.
Much more professional too. I mean, everybody's wearing, their uniforms more and more consistent, and it just, I see that change too. And
Well, that's the biggest thing is, if you as board members and employees of the township see that things have improved, that the community will see that too. And that's the biggest thing is, if we have to be doing the things that gets the community support.
And I love seeing you guys out at the trick or trunks or parades or whatever.
Home
It's just,
Depot.
I mean, all that stuff means a lot, I mean, I remember, I think Luke, were you at Wilson? Yeah, there was a picture of you. I mean, you could see you're enjoying your time with the kids there, and the kids are looking up to you guys. And I mean, I think it's wonderful, especially you talk about future firefighters someday,
And that was great, because I think Luke was at almost every event that we had. So that's the kind of the really good buy-in that we've
Right.
got from from staff to be able
Right.
to want to be and
Right.
participate in some of those
And
activities.
even at the.
Now, it's not everybody, but
Right.
you have to start small and start somewhere, right?
And the farmer's market too.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody was enjoying themselves and.
I don't have any questions. I'll look this over and
We'll talk about goals for
Yep.
next year.
I like how professional your document we got, that we were sent.
I was looking at electronic.
I can email it to you if you want right now.
Gabby's got hers.
Where'd you get the goals?
These are what the chief put on his evaluation.
But
And-
that isn't, that on paperwork you sent?
I don't know, like, some people never get me off.
I
Like,
did.
My email that shows.
Well, I didn't send the whole evaluation, I just sent the goals.
We can,
We'll share.
we can share.
I have another one.
We're gonna use the buddy system.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want you to be buddies.
I know I sent a bunch of information in with the evaluation, so you could kind of give you an idea.
The chief
Yeah.
goal that we can either approve, change. Whatever we want. And come up to an agreement with the chief. They're exactly the
Make
ones.
sure I
that-
had the right one.
Yeah, it's just a snippet of what you put on your evaluation sheet. Do you not have it over?
Not that cheap, but. Have all the
It
pit
said you
things.
didn't.
No, that one page I didn't. Yeah, I had everything else except that.
So the first one you put was strengthen professional, build trust and respect within the. department.
Yeah, oh, that was, yes, at the bottom of the sheet. So looking at that, and one of that topic is to investigate the development of a new mission, vision, and core statement value or core value statement. Nothing wrong with what we have, and that's what I based a lot of the evaluation on. But is it meeting what we're currently doing? And where we want to go into the future? So it's nothing to change it immediately, but something to think about that would give us that drive to move to the next level. And this is ongoing. Currently, I think we're already doing some of these things and we want to get to the next step. And that is to establish or implement a structured training program for both the full-time and paid on-call staff that meets the NFPA standards, our EMS certifications, and more scenario-based training. And then create an officer development program for those that want to continue with the department and succeed. So I think we are already starting into some of that, but these are the goals that we want to get to kind of hopefully come to complete these programs. The next one is to build trust and respect within the department. When I first came in, I was able to conduct one-on-one meetings with all the staff and you as board members. I would like to try to continue that. Maybe to try to do that twice a year and see how that goes and see where we're going. So I get that first year where we're at, where are we now, and where do we want to go? The other one is establish a peer recognition program. I think it's important for firefighters to be recognized for the things that they do. The stuff that Luke put together tonight and the others down at the Southside Station was a good example of that. You know, being able to put and present to you and to the community that these are hazards that we face. I gave them the idea, they ran with it. That was the big thing. You know, we all wanted it to start off with as a piece of training because it's important to see what those tanks will do. And then they turned it into art. So I think that was a great opportunity for that. As you mentioned, improve internal communication. It was my way of finding out what communication style will work. And we kind of do that all the time. Every position that I've been in a leadership role, communication's always been an issue. Every firefighter fatality that you read the reports on, communication's going to be one of the biggest things that fails. So we've got to do a better job. I understand that. And I will continue to strive and make those progressions to be better at. The other one's enhanced community engagement and dedication. I have put together a community risk assessment for the township and want to start looking at doing a community risk reduction initiative that focuses on the smoke alarm installations, home safety visits, and more public education, because I think we can do a better job at that. We do a great job with the smoke detectors now, but we can enhance that as long as we have the support of the state and the backing of that. Because currently there is no funding to help continue that process. We've got what we have, and we were able to get some support from the Red Cross, but where else can we get it? Like Home Depot, they came out and was able to give us more smoke detectors and other devices to help with public safety in the home. Host open houses and fire prevention events, and getting away from just the fire prevention week. You know, we've talked about it. We've done some of these things with the holidays, but we can be out there and doing more in the community, getting our face and name out there, so to speak. Develop a social media presence. I've tried to work on that. I've contacted Alpena Community College to see if they have any students that would be willing to take that up. I've also contacted Lansing Community College to see if they have any students to take that up. Again, it's a tough thing to do, but you can do it from a distance. So I'm looking at all aspects of that, because we have Facebook. I haven't been able to get to do a lot of that. Our webpage, that's part of the township as all, but we have our own tab on the webpage. And again, I don't have the time to be able to commit to that. So we've got to be able to find a champion that will do that for the department. And then maybe take on that other social media role where we can get the other things put in. I was able to get onto a platform called Nextdoor. That's free for public safety, and it puts it out into the community. However, it's not a really robust in this area as it is down in other parts of the state where you've got a bigger community, but there are several hundred people that we can get a message out to. And then moving into operational readiness and safety, continue with the full equipment and apparatus audit. So we've kind of accomplished that with finding out that the trucks hadn't been tested in a couple years, that we didn't have accurate records in place. So now with this year being completed, we've got the full records. So we can move from there and saying, where can we go not from now? Our capabilities with our new software package will have the ability to put all of our equipment into that software and know when things expire, when it'll be time for them to be replaced. We can put in cost measures that will tell us what we should expect at the time of replacement, and what is that kind of return or decrease in depreciation. Also updating and evaluating all the SOPs and SOGs. Been in that process for several months, and now it's time to start rolling them out. The officers have been given most all of those SOPs and SOGs for review, and the feedback that I've gotten, we've changed a few of them, and now it's time to start rolling them out. It's not to replace what currently is, but to take what is currently in place, because they're based on a template that is across all townships. We want to focus it in on what is the charter township of Alpena. So it will directly impact the operations that we do and not across the breadth of all fire departments. And then continue out evaluating staffing and response models. Analyze call data, improving response times and coverages. And then lastly, lay the groundwork for a better future. Enhance a strategic planning process. I've already presented a capital improvement plan that kind of gives an idea. We are going to need to replace a fire truck. The stations are not capable of meeting the needs for the current position that we're in. Looking at grant opportunities, we were able to get with Target and have them come in. You know, we reached out to them as from the fire department, but also made it as an entire township to meet with them and see where they could do for the both of us. And I think he was able to present some very good information. I've actually gotten in touch with him again to talk about what could potentially be available for the fire department in the future as we start making some discussions and see where that could lead to be able to then bring to you as the board to see if that's an option. And then build relationships with local government and mutual aid partners. Tried my best to get out to every place that we currently touch or have aid agreements with. It's always changing. Obviously, with the change in leadership at the city, another avenue has got to be crossed to continue the building relationship that I've made with the city leadership and organization of the fire department, as well as some of the other outlying county departments by creating the Alpena County Fire Chiefs Association, which we're in the process of doing. And I've kind of helped with that by creating the bylaws and some of the other stipulations of what that means, along with a couple of the other fire chiefs. So I think that building of the relationship is going to go a long way in the future as this whole county continues to grow and develop. And then using metrics to do all this, right? How can we increase the training hours logged per firefighter? We're tracking that. We've got the capabilities of doing it. Improving response times or turnout times. We've got great stuff now. Where can we meet not just the turnout of the station, but turnout onto the scene? Positive feedback from community engagement events. We've heard the good stuff about, we're so happy to have you out here. I like hearing that stuff because it makes those that talk about it smile. And when the community members smile or the kids get excited about seeing the fire trucks, it gives us excitement, or at least myself excitement. I can't speak for everybody else, but I assume they would say the same thing. We have to continue with our retention and morale among the paid on call staff. What can we do to better our staff members? We've lost a few during this year, not by death or anything, but because life has gotten in the way. They have other priorities in their lives that they have to meet by. And we totally understand that. But where can we find that new commitment from the community and our paid on call staff and bring them in to help by whatever means necessary that is. If we need to change our thought on how a paid on call staff member is seen or developed, what kind of groupings that we have of that, whatever it means. And then again, when we do a strategic plan, making sure that we can complete it. Where are we focused at and how can we get there? So these are all things that I put together that I would like to try to do in the next year and continuing, because I think some of these are long-term goals and not just short-term, but our short-term focus needs to be on gaining the respect and the backing of the community to help support our funding to continue for the fire department.
This is very nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this not get dusty.
Correct, me either.
Yeah.
So, Chief, if I understand correctly, you would like to adopt these 5 points for your goals for next year.
Yes.
I'm totally on board with that.
It seems like a lot. It's a big task.
I think it's just like eating an elephant. You gotta do it one bite at a time. And no, I
Start with
didn't
stuff
eat
that
elephant
tastes
when I was an
better.
African.
I was gonna say, Tim, would we need to make a motion to approve these for goals to shoot next year?
You've got them documented. I think, they just are.
Does anybody else have any other goals they?
Yeah, like, Cash said, you put too much on your plate and you're not gonna accomplish.
Right.
You might not accomplish them all well.
No, but that's where we've gotta I work with you as the board of what ones should we really take on task? I can do some of them myself along with staff. But from the board's aspect, where are some key ones that we should really focus on?
This is where you want some feedback from us.
Correct.
So,
I'd like to ask, does the fire committee still meet regularly?
That has been put off for a couple months,
Okay,
but we are meeting tomorrow night.
okay. So I think that's key into helping these goals, you know,
It
to,
is.
along with staff and to help move things forward, or get feedback from the fire committee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'd rather see, you know, I like the goals on there. I think if you don't want to put easy peasy goals.
No, I think it would be attainable for 3 of 5. I think the 5 on here is a lot, but
normally you only request 3 goals, 5 can be overwhelming.
That's where I need to be able to
think
find champions and
if the board picked the
Yeah.
3, I mean, you could still work on these other things.
But don't you think even to keep all 5, but just maybe take one off or of them, or I don't know.
Take one off.
Well, like some of them have 3, well, they all have 3 items under it, but I guess they all kind of go together, but.
If he gets completed, I think it's gonna be great.
I know, I think if half of them are done, or 3 out of the 5, that's still a win.
Well, he sets the bar up here, so shoot for the moon.
well, just to accept them all and try and see it out.
Okay.
Accept your goals and God bless you, whatever you get them.
If we appreciate everything you've done, I can't speak for the whole board, everything you've done and how hard you've worked the last year.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I second that.
Well, it has been a struggle at times, I think, because we fight our own history, right, the past. And both sides need to move forward and put that behind us, and that's a lot easier said than done. So I think everybody's gotta keep that in mind, but we're moving forward, different direction. Put everything down, put the knives down, let's move forward, and I think you try hard at that, so.
You're a very
Give it
patient
credit.
man. I wasn't looking at you.
Very pleased. I'm very pleased with the work you've done.
Well, thank you.
And I'm pleased with the fact that you're planning out for another year.
I'm hoping it goes beyond that.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
We are too.
Thank you for the work that you've put in. I don't know if is this to be submitted to personnel for a file, or what's the next step?
I will file it in this personnel file.
I'm sure you'll report.
And then
on
we
it
will
in your
pull it out
meetings.
next year.
And
November
we'll look at it
meeting.
again.
Yeah.
Now, these were the goals set. Let's see
What
where
can we
we're
do?
at.
I'm sure he'll include it in his monthly reports. You know, how things are moving along.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
Thank
looking
you.
forward to the future.
Okay, moving on to the second opportunity for public comment. If there's anybody online with public comment, please raise your hand. Seeing none, if there's anybody in person with comment, please approach the podium. Also seeing none, that concludes the second opportunity for public comment. Was there any other discussion? I just wanted to add, if you guys remember, before my time, there was a grant that was written from MDOT for the non-motorized path, which would be from Island Drive to, I believe, North Partridge Point. So we've kind of been sitting on that, which is out of my hands and out of MDOT's hands at this point. So I asked Kevin Shadig from MDOT just to give me a quick update on that so I could update you guys since it's been a year. And basically, they've made some progress, but Eagle has requested additional information because they feel that the wetlands for that project are going to be impacted significantly. That pathway that they're proposing is already in an area that's been disturbed for utilities. So MDOT is not clear why they're.
I wonder
holding
if they're
off on it.
thinking about the boardwalk. One of the conditions, or one of the things that the prior supervisor wanted was to, in addition to this bypass that would sort of go along 23 south
Mhm.
on the, I guess would be the east side of the highway.
Right.
There was also at one point beyond South Partridge Point Road was a boardwalk that was going to go out into the bay as a sort of
Karen
little,
Pines
like
property.
From
a,
South Bay, wasn't
like-
it? The group South Bay, wasn't they were gonna do that boardwalk?
yeah, and it was, I got the impression that somewhere between that, the road and that 45th parallel sign was going to be a boardwalk that went out, and I wonder if that's the wetland that they're talking about.
Nope, so this is specifically ending at North Partridge Point.
Oh, okay.
So it's just from Island to North Partridge Point, and I think the area of concern is right around that little subdivision.
Oh, yeah, Burkholder,
No,
isn't it? Not Burke.
Burke Manor.
Berkman, yeah.
Yeah, so, for Kevin, they're still waiting on, everything with Eagle to, align and be reviewed. MDOT wants to keep the pathway and the power line corridor, where it's already been disturbed. But I think Eagle is looking at rerouting that pathway, I believe, further back, and that would disturb the wetlands. So, I'll update you guys when I know more about that. I speak with Kevin about this every so often, and that's the best he's been able to give me. But he did say that Eagle was up here doing something else and they did evaluate a section of that. So he's hopeful that it's gonna start moving forward in a more timely manner. What that means to me is probably, if anything, construction would start in next spring, as it's already the end of November. Any questions about that?
That's okay, we'll talk. The only, I mentioned it very, very briefly earlier, while we were talking about the lots. And I think that it might be worth hearing from, Lenny on what the Lake Huron Regional Development Corporation can do for Alpena Township. So I wonder if in the not too distant future, if we shouldn't invite him to come here and give us a presentation on what it might look like. And so in the past, each year when the county sends us those pieces of property that may be in foreclosure or have tax delinquency, and we've always sort of pushed it
I don't
back
think
to
she
the county.
needs to do that anymore. They changed the law, so we don't get like
Hmm.
first choice of those properties anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it just goes right to the county then.
Correct.
Oh, well. Let me rethink that. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to bust your bubble there, Steve.
Okay,
Okay, there's a motion to adjourn.
you got it.
All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same, meeting adjourned at 8:24.
So far.